back to Ancillary Bass Techniques. My name is Mackenzie Layton, and today we're going to be talking about harmonics. Now, harmonics and the harmonic series is a super deep topic that I am not going to try and explore in depth today. This is a pretty superficial examining of harmonics, and really specifically it's for pizzicato and jazz style playing and some ways we can use harmonics in cool ways. Okay, so I'm going to assume sort of a basic understanding of harmonics, you know, that whole thing. I'm going to assume you kind of have that down. So now what we can do once we have all those partials and we know how to play them is we can combine them in cool ways with stopped notes and make some really cool voicings. So kind of the easiest ones to do off the cuff are to do something like use the harmonic note as the third and a stopped note as a root. So here's that example with B flat. We play a D and a B flat. Easy, sounds great. There's a G and an E flat again. So that's kind of a cool sound we can use. Now, below that note on the next string down, we have the seventh of those chords, so we could conceivably play a B flat major 7 and an E flat major 7. Right? Now with harmonics, they're a little finicky, so there's always the chance that you'll miss it if you don't have your finger right on the node, but that's just sort of the gamble you take when you go to play harmonics. So we have B flat major 7 here, nice voicing. Now it's also the same if we go, now we have a B minor 7, that's kind of nice. And then the same thing with the, we have an E minor 7, which is kind of cool. And then actually the same sort of voicing exists for F and F sharp too. So we have F major 7 like that, right? F sharp minor 7, that's pretty cool. One of my favorite voicings is this one, which is sort of like a C6-9, right? D, A, E, and then you play the C right there on the E string. That's kind of a nice sound. It could also be kind of a cool like G6-9 voicing, right? Now, I'm having a little bit of a hard time, there we go, getting that to sound. One of the things you have to be conscious of when you are playing a combination of harmonics and stopped notes is that you're not touching any of the ringing harmonics strings when you go to play the stopped note. So you gotta get everything out of the way and just play the G, so that can be a little tricky. Okay, so those are some cool voicings. We also could do like, right, like a G major 7 like that. It's kind of nice. We could also do, well, one thing that's kind of interesting is if you think about the harmonics in their enharmonic equivalents. So for instance, we have a G sharp harmonic on the E string, right? Right there we have a G sharp, right? What if we think of it as an A flat? We get kind of an F minor sound, that's pretty cool. Right? Or how about the C sharp on the A string? Think of that as a D flat, and we can play a B flat minor chord. Right? So that sounds pretty cool. Another thing we could do if we use this A flat, right? We have that tritone there between D and A flat. We can play a B flat right there, or B flat 7. So that's certainly not an exhaustive overview of potential voicings, but those are some of my personal go-to voicings combination of harmonics and stopped notes. Now you might have noticed when I played that C6-9 voicing, I above the left hand is kind of an interesting thing. When we're playing harmonics, because we're not pushing on the string, it doesn't matter actually which side of the string we play, right? Whoops. There it is. It's the same note. Doesn't matter which side we play on. Now, I find, especially when we're playing pizzicato, that to play this particular group, right, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th fret harmonics, it's kind of easier to play them if you pluck above your left hand. Now, the first guy I saw do this was Christian McBride. I saw him play, I think he played this G major 7 voicing I showed before. So he plays, right? They really kind of ring out better. And if you think about it, between here and the nut, way shorter than between here and the bridge, right? When classical guys play, like say the Bottesini concertos, and they're playing all this stuff with the bow, this is a very short string length, right? And they're doing that so that it can really project and really carry. So right here, when we're playing pizzicato, whoops. I find that it's kind of easier sometimes to play these harmonics if we pluck above the left hand. Sometimes I call it crisscross applesauce, but that doesn't really mean anything, it's just fun. Right? Now, this is a little easier if you have a little bit of fingernails. My fingernails right now are like if I was going to do an electric bass gig, I'd probably cut them, but they're not long enough to really get in the way of pizzicato playing on the upright yet. So that's kind of the perfect length when you're up here. Right? And you can really bring your hand, really bring it in like that. Now, these harmonics in particular, I find, really work best kind of in a small ensemble setting. I mean, for sure, they sound the best, I think, in a bass solo, like unaccompanied bass solo. Then you can really kind of explore the harmonics realm. But I find, you know, you get cymbals in the mix, and you really kind of lose the clarity of these partials. So you kind of want to think about what's happening overall in the band when you're using these harmonics. Okay, so just as a little example, I like to play, everybody probably knows Portrait of Tracy, Jaco Pastorius' famous harmonics piece. Well, I like to play the opening lick right here like this. It's kind of fun. So let me find everybody. There we go. Right, one more time. D-sharp artificial one, I'm not even going to try. But anyway, so that's kind of a nice technique. They really kind of speak better just because the string is so much shorter. And you can really, if you get into the scale, right, we have this weird kind of B minor scale. That's a G sharp on the bottom there. So you can really kind of get into playing with those notes, and I think it's really easy if we're playing pizzicato to pluck up here. So that's kind of fun. Okay, and the last technique, little harmonics trick I wanted to talk about today is something called harp harmonics. Now, what's a harp harmonic? Well, if you think about a harp, right, their strings have all the same harmonics that our strings do, but because they have a string for each note, they're not going to be able to sort of find the different nodes in relation to where they are to stopped notes like we do. So what the harpist has to do is sort of visually assess, okay, where's the halfway point? And then I think what they do is they put their thumb on the node and pluck with another string. And this is what I do. I first discovered this technique, I was playing a duo gig with a piano player, and we ended a song, I think probably on a B flat chord. And it was just the two of us, and you know, she played a nice voicing, and I thought, man, I wish I could do something else. So there we go. There's a harp harmonic right on the D, on the G string. Right? So that's a little hard to see, I can tell from the camera. So here's what I'm doing. I'm putting my thumb on the node, and then I actually plug with my ring finger just because for whatever reason I can the angle's a little better. But I'm missing some of them. There we go. Oops. Right? So there's some harp harmonics. You can, you could do that on whatever node you could find. Just stop it with your thumb and pluck with whichever finger. All right, thanks for watching. Those are some harmonics tricks, and looking forward to the next one. All right.